Well, g'day everyone. I thought that I'd do something a bit different with you for the next couple of videos. This time I'm going to do a video where I've shot a couple of girls, and I thought I'd talk you through my thinking when I was going through the shots and show you some of the images that have been captured. Now, the images have only been edited in Lightroom, so they haven't had full retouching done yet. They've just had some color correction and things like that done in Photoshop. There are things that I probably will retouch out and things like that in Photoshop a little bit later. But I thought this might be interesting to you to sort of go through the whole process about what I was thinking at that time and things like that. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so this is the lovely Scout. Now, what I wanted to do here, I thought I'd try something different at the beginning and do something with natural light without the flash. And you can see this as a result. So I've exposed basically for Scout's face here. And the same in this situation. So I'm not worried about the background being blown out here. I just wanted to make sure that their face, or Scout's face here, was perfectly exposed. And that was the thing that was important to me for this one. Now, what I wanted to do with Hannah, this is lovely Hannah, was I thought I'd try something now with the flash. So I was using the ProPhoto B1, and you'll see those results in a minute. Now, it's just getting Hannah to move around. That's what I always do. Just get them constantly move around, and also say to sit down. You'll see a couple of these images in a minute, and basically I'm moving in and moving out all the time. Now, what I did was I exposed for the ambient, and then I add the flash, and this is the results that you're getting here. So you can see that Hannah is exposed lovely, and the background is kept nice as well, and that's using the ProPhoto B10, and I was using the Magnum reflector here. This is another shot where I did the same thing again, and I really do like using that, trying to balance the flash. With Scout here, I decided to use the flash as well. Again, I'm always moving, like I'm constantly saying to the models, keep moving, move around, and things like that. Once the exposure's set, it doesn't matter, because Kerry's sort of hiding off to the side there and firing the flash in to face Scout from the front here. So once I've done my exposure, I can just then fire away, and this is the result that I've got here with Scout. You can see that she's balanced nicely with the ambient as well. The thing here is to not make it look too flashy, and that's what I always try and do. Otherwise it looks very, very fake, but they do stand out if you use the flash. Now, this part here, I wanted Hannah and also Scout to start walking towards me. They were sort of modeling first still, and then I'd get them to walk towards me to just get different looks and to try and relax them when they're walking. It's very hard sometimes to get them to look natural, and you can see here that I've got them smiling, balanced the flash with the ambient again, and I've done the same thing here with Scout. Again, they're doing some standing poses. I'm constantly talking to them, that's why they're laughing sometimes, and then I'll get them to walk. And again, I'll use the flash and match the ambient with the background as well. And the next one here, I've used Scout here, but the shot I've used is Hannah. I think I did put one in of Scout. I'll have a look in a second. But all I did was get them to walk across this Captain Cook's cottage here. I wanted a bit of motion to come into it. So again, I've just exposed for the ambient. This was all natural light, though. In this case, I didn't use a flash here because the light was sort of more front on. And you can see Hannah in that scenario there. This was just behind that cottage. And what I wanted to do here was get the light shining in from the side to give that lovely sort of highlight or rim lighting on the side of them, and fill it in with flash from the front. And again, this was another one that I did with now facing the front. I wanted to just get a head and shoulders here of Scout, and that's what I did with this shot. So you'll see this in a second where I've used the zoom. It was the 70-200 2.8 GM. And I wanted to get a lovely shot. What I'm doing here, though, I'm asking Scout all the time to just keep moving so that I can get different shots here. And then obviously she's having a bit of fun. But you can see here what I've done. I've underexposed it a little bit and then added some fill flash to get a different look here. We then moved to this different location, which was having Hannah sitting down first. And I wanted to get this nice sort of, I think it's a fountain sort of at the background with a nice little lake that's behind them, or a pond. And I had Kerry standing to the left-hand side just out of frame with the Profoto B10. So I balanced for ambient, and then I added the flash in to get the exposure. Now, as long as Kerry doesn't move, I'm shooting manual, and I can just keep these settings the whole time, and I can just zoom in, zoom out, move around to the left, move around to the right, and just keep constantly moving. And you'll see a couple of those shots now coming into this. So this is with Hannah sitting down, and again I've tried to balance the ambient with the flash exposure that's there, and now she's standing up in that same location as well. And I've now done the same thing as well with Scout. I always like to do the same thing with each model that I do, and again Scout's just moving around. I'm talking to her, asking her to move, to interact with her all the time, trying to relax them, have a bit of fun with them, and things like that. And I just wanted, you can see actually at the side there where Kerry was with the Profoto B10. And again, this is one of Scout standing up. I love this one. There was a bit of movement in the hand here though, so I did another one just to show you here where the hand was nice and steady. And again, I asked Scout to sort of sit down in a second, so you'll see her just move over and sit down. Occasionally you'll see the fire flash off. Again, I like them relaxed here, so I want the legs sort of extended out and the hands all extended. And again, I've just matched ambient light with the background light, so the image that I take will be slightly darker than what you're looking at through the video, and you'll see that in a second. This is the image here that we got. You can see that I've tried to balance it nicely with the background. I love the way that she looks in that image. Again, you can see Kerry here with the Profoto B10. I'm going to get Hannah to walk towards me. I didn't use any of these images, but I just wanted to show you what was sort of happening here and where Kerry actually is standing. I love the look of the B10 natural. I did get Hannah to stand or lean on the side of that sort of walk there as well. Again, I'm doing the same thing here with Scout. You can see she's always mucking around. I just love it. They've both got great attitudes, these girls. They're really quite funny. Again, Kerry was just standing to the right-hand side here. I'm asking Scout now to lean onto this, onto that pole there, or the rail of that post as well. And I'm always trying to do different things, and that way, you know, they never get bored, and they really don't have time to get nervous because you're constantly interacting with them, which is great as well. And you'll see a couple of shots here where I've got Scout just walking towards me. I love the way she's looking out to the right-hand side there. And again, this is a close-up one, just using the 70-200 to zoom in to get a different look about it. We then moved over to this pathway that was coming out. You can see Kerry standing off there to the left-hand side with the Profoto B10. And again, I'm always shooting manual exposure here. So once I've got the exposure sort of tied down, and how I do that is I'll shoot with TTL to get a first exposure, and then I'll transfer the flash over to manual. And then just adjust the exposure from there, and I can then move the flash up and down. And you can see here that I'm just basically asking Scout to move around. Just little movements can make all that difference. So you can see she's just moving her hands a little bit and things like that. It's always, the thing you always try and do is to get them move constantly. And you'll see a couple of those images coming through now. This is the first one of Scout standing there. The next one, she'll have a different pose, and I love this. I like the way she was just playing with her hair. Even sometimes I like them looking away from the camera. I adore this image. I think this is beautiful with that contact with the eyes and just the pose there. I then had Hannah doing the same thing, just walking towards me, doing some poses and things like that. And you can see these are the images that I've got here. The important thing to do here too is to make sure that Hannah's dress is not blown out. You want to see the detail still in the dress, and that's what's so important about this. And I think I've maintained that fairly well. This next spot was I wanted to have a bit of fun with the girls, just interacting with one another. Now, it was darker than what the video's showing here, and you'll see that when we look at the images in a minute, but I'm just constantly getting them to interact with each other, lean into one another, and you can see they're laughing as we're having a bit of fun talking. I'm asking them to lean on each other. They really are, you know, a couple of characters. They make me laugh. I love working with young girls that have a bit of personality like this, and we had a real bit of fun doing this part of the shoot. And you'll see the image now now that comes up. So this is how the image looked. So I've balanced again the flash with the ambient. Like I said, it was darker in real life than what the video was portraying. And again, then I got them to start walking towards me. So after they did that posing, I thought, well, we'll get them to just walk towards me. Kerry's maintaining that distance the whole time, so nothing changes with the flash exposure, and you'll see the results now of them looking or walking straight towards me. Again, it's important to maintain those highlights in the dress. You don't want to blow those out. The next section was just doing some poses in the same spot. So you can see the distance where Kerry is away there from Hannah, and she's just moving around doing some posing. I'm standing obviously behind there because I'm using the 70-200. I wanted that compression in the background, and you'll see that shot now where Hannah's posing. It's a lovely little pose here as well. And this is another pose where she's walking towards me. Again, I really love that look that we've got there. This is another one where you're doing the same thing here with Scout. You can see the distance where Kerry is standing away there. I love the Profoto B10 with that Magnum reflector. Again, I'm using manual exposure and then just adjusting the flash power. You can see Kerry moving there with Scout, so that keeps that distance there, and that's the look that we're getting here. So as long as Kerry maintains that distance, the exposure will stay the same the whole time. The next one we're looking at, we found this group of trees. Again, you're seeing the distance of where Kerry is away. I wanted her to light up the whole thing. The first shot that you'll see here is I wanted to do a more natural look. So the first one doesn't have any flash going off, and you'll see that now because this is just natural light. And I wanted to give you a comparison between exposing now with flash. So I've now exposed with the background correctly exposed, and I'm using the flash to light up Scout in the foreground here as well. And I love the dress flowing and everything on that image. And again, you'll see Kerry will be moving away as Hannah is moving. That's how you maintain that distance the whole time. That has to stay the same the whole way through. And you'll see the image now of Hannah just standing there in this image. And then I use the 70-200 to move in and get a cropped image of this as well. So there's two variations there that we can look at. Okay, so what did you think about that? Did you enjoy this type of video? Let me know in the comment box down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.